beautiful people, welcome back. So we are going to do a recap and a review of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 3, titled Stand in Your Truth. So we have where we left off from last episode, where we had Giselle talking to Candace, accusing Chris of inappropriate actions. And that was at that point where Candace, as they say, broke the fourth wall. She stopped the recording. She told the cameras, stop recording. Actually, no, she said, no. Where's the producer? I want to see. What was his name? Chris? Where's Chris? I need to talk to Chris. So she brings him in. Actually, no, I guess she was in the bathroom by then. He went to find her in the bathroom. And they had the door open and talking. And she told him, listen, I'm not about this. You're not about to start this with my husband. If you need somebody to be a perv, there you go. Go find Michael. He's been doing this for years. And you're not about to make my husband out to be this. So she tells him all that she had to say. The producer's like, I can't control what you guys talk about, just like I can't control what they talk about. So the producer's saying that, listen, I didn't have nothing to do with this. This is her storyline. She wanted to run with it. All we're doing is recording and capturing the moments and just putting it out there. So Candace is like, and she said what she had to say. She's like, I'm leaving. And I want you to keep my fourth wall in this section, meaning do not edit this out. I want the world to see what just happened between you and I. Without saying anything to the other ladies, Candace just left. She walked out. She's like, I can't do this. She said, not today, Satan, not today, neck, not today, ankles. She's talking about Gizelle and Giselle's behavior, because what usually happens after somebody drops a bomb like that, the ladies will then get into a discussion, start with a yelling match, say what they had to say, be passionate about it. But she's like, she's not giving Gizelle the energy today. She's just going to say what she has to say to the producers and leave. And that is what Candace did. She drove out of there and left all them ladies sitting there wondering what happened. So, okay, I guess they needed to keep filming. Hey, we're supposed to film for a certain amount of hours per day. We're going to continue this. Let's find another story to talk about. So Gizelle is like, oh, Mia, I sent you a text to try and resolve and talk about what happened, and you didn't respond. So they were trying to, go back and forth right there with the ladies in the lobby. And then I believe it was Robyn who suggested, why don't y'all go somewhere, go talk about it? It's either Robyn or Ashley. She's like, go somewhere else, go talk about it. So the ladies went back into the dance studio. There were some people in there, but I guess they cleared it out for them. They went into the dance studio. They talked a little while. Mia said, you know what, Giselle, I'm kind of disappointed that you would step up to me and question whether, I was sick or ill. She's like, I would expect this from new booty Wendy, but not from you. Of course, Giselle found that to be funny. So they talked about it some more, and then Giselle apologized. So while they were in that room talking, now we're outside, and Robyn tells Wendy, listen, when we were at the spring fling party and you saw us talking to Mia, why did you come over there and talk about what are these two talking about? So her and Wendy went back and forth. Wendy's telling Robyn, stand in your truth. You said she was lying. I'm the only one who's an actual friend to her and believe everything that she's saying. But yet you were saying you lying. Now Robyn gets heated, stands up, and she's about to approach Wendy. Wendy's like, sit your down. Robyn is like, well, I'm standing up. What you gonna do? She's like, well, I'm still sitting here and nothing about to happen. And Robyn makes it known that, listen, I'm gonna sit down, but I'm still mad as hell at you. So, all right, the ladies come back from the room. Giselle and Mia comes back from the room, and they're like, what's going on now here? At this time, Robyn and Wendy were going back and forth at each other. So they just listened to it until finally, what's her name? Gosh, I keep forgetting her name. The original Grand Dame. What is her name? She said to them, you two need therapy. So I guess that's how they ended it. Somehow the argument fizzled away. And then Ashley asked Mia, so okay, how is your health at this moment? What is going on with your health? She said, are you cancer free? She said, actually, I am cancer free. They still have to take some biopsy because there's still some lumps in my body that needs to be examined. So we're still kind of going back and forth of it. This process takes time. So we're still looking into it. All right, so they were satisfied with whatever answer she gave them. Then Robyn said, listen, guys, I want to plan a family day. Mia, your kids are out of school. My boys are out of school. Your kids are out of school. Ashley, she asked Ashley if her son would come. She's like, well, he's a little bit little, but I'll bring him just to be a spectator. And she did not extend the invite to Wendy. And so Cherise, that's her name. Cherise says to Robyn, you're not inviting Wendy? And she's like, no, she just called me a nasty person. I'm not inviting her nowhere. So, of course, Wendy responded to that. And I agree with Wendy. You're inviting everybody out. You are a group. You're a collective. You all have children around the same age range. Why would you exclude her kids? The kids don't have nothing to do with no disagreement that you have going on with their mama. Invite the boys out. Let them come and have some fun with the other kids. That wasn't cool of you, Robyn. You know, that wasn't cool at all. So then the ladies, that was it for them. No, that wasn't it for them. As they were leaving, I guess Wendy forgot she was mic'd. So one of the producers asked her, how's your relationship with Mia currently? She's like, Mia and I are cool. She said, outside of Karen, I think I'm the only one who really checks on Mia. But I know she's lying. I know that she's lying about her health. Oh my God. So they caught her on the hot mic saying that Mia was telling lie about her health. Wow. And that's supposed to be your friend. So in front of the cameras, girl, you say the things for people to like you in front of the cameras, and then behind the scenes you talk about them, which is what Mia says she expected of you anyway. You booty Wendy, as she calls you. She expected you to be shady about stuff. Wow. So now that was it for that scene. Now we have Candace at home. She's doing her egg retrieval process, or she has to prepare for her egg retrieval process, I should say. So she's on FaceTime with her doctor, and the doctor is walking her through and how to do the injections. She's saying she has to go through this alone because Chris is at work. She's a little bit scared, but she got through it. When she did it, she realized that it was no big deal with the injections. And she tells her doctor that she's going to call her every night to help her go through it. So that was a real quick scene with Candace at home getting ready to do her process. Now we have Karen and Ray, and they're going to go get manicures. They go into the salon. They get ready to sit down and whatever. And Karen lets us know that, listen, she can't go do her nails because she after her 102-degree fever and she took her COVID test, she realized she was COVID free, so she could go out and about. But some of the ladies think that Karen did not go to the dance studio because she was trying to avoid Cherise. She's not trying to be anywhere around Cherise. Remember, first she was surprised to see Cherise at the Spring Fling because she did not invite her. Robyn did. She didn't go to the dance studio with Ashley because she knew that Cherise would be there as well. And I believe we see a preview of an upcoming episode where Karen leaves the event because Cherise is there. So for whatever reason, she does not want to have a conversation with Cherise. But Cherie's not going to let her get away, I'm sure. Eventually, they're going to have to talk. So they're having their nails done. They made some jokes about, Ray getting pink nail color or whatever. And then Karen asked him in front of the nail techs, like, Ray, you see me doing a little sprucing up. You see me taking care of Karen, making sure Karen is good. Are you jealous that, other people will find me attractive as well? And Ray was like, I'm fine with that. You flirt. People flirt with you. You flirt with them. It's no big deal. And then Karen's like, but you did tell me it was okay for me to have a little eye candy, meaning that I could look at men and appreciate men, whatever. And then Ray is like, well, let's hope that's all it is, Karen. Eye candy. Make sure it's all it is, eye candy. Make sure you don't take it any further than just looking and appreciating a good-looking man. Oh, gosh. And that's where the scene ended with Karen and Ray. Now we have Ashley, and she's house hunting. So we see her in Arlington, Virginia with her brother. She took her brother to go look at the house with her. She said this is her third house she's looking at. she's putting offers on the first two, and they were outbid by cash offers. So this is at the height of where the prices of houses spiked. So as they call it, it was a seller's market. Houses were going so quickly because people were moving away from like the inner city and moving into the suburbs around that time where we had a spike in COVID. They just wanted to be away from the masses. They wanted a more suburban lifestyle where you don't really see your neighbors like that. So because of that, that drove the prices of houses up, and people were putting cash offers in for housing. Now that the housing market has settled, things are a little bit better. But like I said, she took her brother with her to go look at houses. And so she has her realtor, who is also Michael's do-it-all person. That's what I'm going to call her. Ashley said this lady has been around since she's known Michael, and she's been there before Ashley came around. And she basically does a lot for Michael. She wears many hats. So in this situation, she is Michael's realtor. So she's going ahead and finding the locations for Ashley. And then Ashley will come in and look at it. So after walking the house and stuff, they're in the kitchen. And the realtor asks her, do you think you want to move forward with this? How do you want to move? She's like, well, I need to talk to Michael about it because, as you know, he's helping me buy this house, even though we are going through a divorce. The financials are still in his lap. So the realtor, whose name is Natalie, tells her that Michael's already told me that everything is good with the bank. So they have been pre-approved for a certain amount, and they've been pre-approved to go ahead and get the house, and she could go in and make an offer. So the producers ask her, so since you lost those two houses to cash offers, it's a possibility that someone will make a cash offer in this house and outbid you and you'll lose it. So why don't you go ahead and make a cash offer? And she said, well, I've spoken to Michael about it, and he said it's not a good idea to make a cash offer. Producers asked why. And she says there's 3 reasons why, and she couldn't remember why. I believe one of the reasons is that you'll be giving up too much of your money. If you put in a cash offer, then you kind of, they said you are diminishing your liquidity, meaning that you don't have as much money in the bank to do other things as you would want to. And there were 2 other reasons, just like Ashley, I can't remember what it is. But it's always good, they say, to use other people's money to take care of your business, which is basically what Michael is doing. He got pre-approved from the bank. And, if you can't find a house where these people will take you on with a mortgage, or if they choose to go with a cash offer, then, hey, this house is not meant for you. So the realtor and the listing agent excuse themselves for a minute so that Ashley could talk to her brother about, stuff that's going on. And she tells her brother, like, this is the first time ever that I'll be living on my own. Like, I've always been in a house with someone. I've never been on my own. And she got kind of sad, and he asked her, what's going on? Why are you getting sad? And she was like, it's kind of a reality that my marriage is coming to an end. Like, it's really ending. So I guess she was a little bit sad about that. And there was a point where the producers asked something about finances. I don't know why I brought it up, because I can't even remember the conversation. But in a way, she realized that she really didn't have control over anything. That Michael, even though they're on the verge of divorce, was still pulling the purse strings left, right, and center. And Ashley didn't feel that she was in control of anything. So that was the scene with Ashley and her house hunting. Now we have Robyn and Wendy at home. And we see her with the boys, doing what boys do, making a mess and not cleaning up, being mischievous and stuff. And her as a mother, yelling at them to clean up behind yourself. Listen, I have a 16-year-old in this house. No, he's 17 now. 17-year-old in this house that I still got to be behind every single minute. So I understand the frustration of Robyn, but that's kids. Kids will be kids. Eventually, they'll be parents and be going through the same thing that we're doing with them right now. So she calls one into the room, and she's like, I want to remember we still have some stuff to do to this house. So I just want to go through the plans and some receipt for stuff like that. And then she brings it up to Juan. She's like, I was wondering, before the wedding, how do you feel about a prenup? So one was like, what the? And then he caught himself and he's like, it's okay, girl. It's all right. Go ahead and do your prenup. I make more money than you anyway. So, of course, one is trying to shrug it off or whatever. And Robyn wouldn't let him. So she's like, let's talk about it. So then he was like, so why is it you want to do a prenup at this point? And you didn't, and you really didn't want to sign it in the first one. So they do a flashback. No, she talks about it. She talks about the time when she did sign the prenup. But as it turns out, it didn't matter because when they did get divorced last time, they were broke. So there was nothing for her to get from the prenup. So then he was like, Robyn, you really do not have to worry about it. You've done a lot for yourself in the past few years. I'm very proud of you. And if you feel that you need to protect yourself, go ahead and make the prenup and I'll sign it. So she was like, so what if you want to put anything in it or change it or whatever? He's like, do whatever you want. Make the prenup. Make sure you protect yourself. And we'll take it from there. And then one got up and left the room. I have a feeling that this marriage is not going to happen. I honestly don't think so. Because since the engagement, I don't see One and Robyn coming together as a couple. I see them drifting apart. It's in my opinion, One does not want to be on the show. He's doing it for Robyn, and eventually he's just not gonna be part of it. Maybe they need to do something creative like Ashley and Michael. Michael is not on the show, but he's been talked about. You don't see him in any of the scenes, and I doubt we're gonna see him at all this season. So maybe they need to do something like that for Robyn and Juan. Wow, if this is the case, all the men are gonna go away eventually. Now we have after Juan and Robyn, now we see Wendy. She's going to the doctor. She's going to the dermatologist because for her situation, it's a dermatologist that need to be contacted. So she is going to the dermatologist because she is concerned about thinning hair. She said since she had her daughter, her hair has been falling out. It's gotten to a point where she is going bald. And they came to the conclusion that she has a lot of stress. We see them doing flashbacks of different scenes where, the situations were kind of stressful. And the doctor basically told her, yes, it's fixable. We do have medication for it. It will grow your hair. However, you will also get facial hair. So Wendy was like, I don't know about that, doctor. I don't know about if I need to do facial hair. Then doctor's like, okay, so we'll do laser removal of the facial hair, but at least you'll have some hair on your head. So that was a quick scene with Wendy and her doctor. Now we have Mia and Robyn. They meet up for lunch. And Robyn is grilling Mia. She is like, we just need to understand what is going on with you, Mia. Because one minute you're saying that, you have cancer, and then the next minute you're saying you're not sure. So what is the true story? So Mia goes in and she tells her that she had to do a biopsy. She does have a lump on her rear, and she could show it to her one day if she wants to. She says comes around, goes around and says it's actually not cancer they found, but it's considered an autoimmune disorder. So you see the camera zoom in and the look on Robyn's face. Then Robyn goes in confessional and says, see now, it all blew up in her face. It all blew up in her face because she couldn't keep the lie straight or whatever. Then Robyn goes to tell her about what's going on with Chris and Gizelle and Candice. Then Mia goes in and tells another lie. Oh my gosh. Mia said, well, I got something to say about that. She said, well, I was at the spring fling and I was on the dance floor dancing. I just kept seeing Chris out of my peripheral and he just kept staring. So of course we have to what? Run the camera back. As Melody says on Huntsville, run the camera back. Let's see it. So we run the camera back on scene after scene. And we do see Chris off to the side of Mia, but Chris is not looking anywhere in Mia's direction. He is having a conversation. He's not even looking at the dance floor. None of that. So why is Mia throwing herself in the mix? Oh my God, Candice, you're going to have to defend your husband this whole entire season, because here comes Mia with another lie. Wow, this is going to be interesting. She said Chris was staring at her, and that was not the case at all. So, all right, we leave it at that. And then we have Giselle and Karen. Giselle goes over to Karen's house. She's like, ooh, I get to go see Karen's house again. I think this is her second time coming there. Or maybe not. Maybe this is a different house. I don't remember. So she tries to come into the living room on Karen's white carpet with her outside shoes. Girl, you crazy. We don't do that. You even lucky you get to even sit in that room. You notice that Karen only had clear liquids in there. She had lemonade, not pink lemonade. She had lemonade and water for you. And then you see Giselle had her fruits in her bowl. She was not about to make that red strawberry slip and land on her white sofa, girl. We only eat clear foods in this room, and we come in here either barefoot or with house shoes. Where you go with your outside shoes? So then the reason for Giselle coming over is so the ladies could catch up. So Giselle was telling Karen about Ashley's dance studio little party. She was showing her some of the moves that they learned and how they were moving and stuff. And then Karen let her know that she spoke to, it was brought to her, she said, about the situation with Giselle and Candace. And after Giselle, told her what happened, Karen said, well, that's how you feel. If that's your truth, your truth. And if that's the way you feel, then I do believe that Chris owes you an apology. And Giselle said, exactly. So then Giselle gets in the confession and she's like, it's been a week after I spoke to Candace. I expected her to call and tell me that she had a discussion with her husband and he's sorry, but I haven't heard anything. So it seems like I'm gonna have to go and address this again, which I don't want to do because it was uncomfortable. So Karen says, well, girl, I know exactly how you feel because I kind of went through a similar situation with somebody in this group. And then she tells us that the person pulled her in and squeezed her so tight that her boobs felt like they were going through the back of her, through her back. And it was just too uncomfortable. She said the way she handled it was she talked to her pastor about it and she spoke to her husband and she decided not to mention it and just let it go. So Giselle asked her, so who was the man? Who was the husband? She's like, nope, not telling. I'll never tell that. The only person I remember hugging Karen like that was Gordon. I think it was Gordon when they went away on that trip. Who had that event? I think it was, who rented that house and had the trip? I think it was Karen. I think it was Karen and Ray, if I'm not mistaken. They had a trip, and one of them girls' trip that they took and everybody came. That's when Giselle's foot was broken and it was in the cast and stuff. So I think it was Gordon. I could be wrong, but I think that's who it was. That's Mia's husband. So that's who I think it was. Don't quote me, but I think that's who it was that it happened with. So she told Giselle, no, girl, you will not get the name out of me. We're just going to go on and move on so that we could just let peace reign. So then we see Chris and Candace go to lunch. And they're talking about, of course, what happened. We see Chris come in the confessional. And he says, he tells Candace exactly what happened the night of the reunion. He said, he told Giselle, I want to talk to you. We did see the point on stage where Chris said he felt uncomfortable about a line of questioning. And Giselle said to him, so you feel, uncomfortable? What was that about? And he said, we'll talk about it later. So then later on, Giselle asked him, you want to talk? Or vice versa, can I talk to you? And Giselle is the one who invited him back to her room. She said that they kept the door open when she realized that her glam squad wasn't there. And at one point, even though the door was open, she still felt a little bit uncomfortable. So she asked Chris to step out to see if production was ready for her to come back on stage. And that's how they were able to not be in the room together alone, because they didn't want any rumors going out there that something was happening. So therefore, that's how they handled it. So Chris, he let Candace know that everything was innocent, that he just wanted to address something with her and nothing happened in the room and stuff like that. But then he gets in the confessional and he says that he understand that maybe some of these ladies went through trauma in their lives or whatever. So he understands that he needs to like keep his distance and stuff like that. But he does look at all of them as a friend, as a group. So for Gizelle to be coming at him with that accusation, it's kind of hurtful. And of course, we all know that we're going to blow off the one from Ashley, because that again was purely innocent. Come, you know, I'm working at this restaurant, I'm trying to get it up. You're hanging out at this other place with your friend and putting it on social media. Come to my place of business, hang out and put it on social media so people will come and give me the service and, you know, the patronage and just be a part of this restaurant and so on and so forth. So after her, they sat there, they were talking for a little while. Candace let him know that she's feeling a little bit emotional because she's going through the medication process of the egg retrieval by herself, and she just wants him there a little bit more, and she's feeling like a failure because she has to go through this alone. Candace, relax, girl. You and your little folded napkin, relax. It's no big deal. You can be done. And, you know, you're just missing your hubby being around all the time. Let the man go to work and contribute to the household, you know, and chill with that crying. So now we see Robyn comes. Chris is a little bit hesitant to greet her because of everything that's happening. He really doesn't know how to approach her now. Like, if I give her a hug, what is she going to do or say? So Robyn is like, nah, don't do that. Don't treat me that way. That's not what we're about. We're better than that. So he gets up and he gives her a hug. They sit at the table and again, they rehash stuff. She lets him know the conversation that she had with Giselle, and where she told Giselle that, you know, she's blowing this out of proportion, that it was all innocent. You know, don't be like that towards Chris. He's a friend of ours. He's a friend of our friend, so don't be like that. And they just went over the conversation again, and Robyn asked Candace, so how are we going to move forward? And Candace says the only way to move forward is if Giselle walks the accusation way back. She needs to walk it all the way back, because at this moment, Giselle is dead to me. And I believe that is where the episode ended. You know, Candace is highly upset, as she should be. Chris is now uncertain, like, where he stands with everybody, because he's being accused of being a creep, and that's not cool. Giselle wants an apology from Chris that Candace and Chris, you know, don't think that they deserve. So Giselle wants an apology from Candace and Chris, and Candace and Chris wants an apology from Giselle, and to say the story is a lie. So there we see that we're gonna have a clash, because nobody's gonna back down from this. And I'm guessing that this is where the season is going to escalate from. We also have Ashley, who wants a divorce, or thinks she wants a divorce, but doesn't want a divorce because of the financial aspect of it, that she's going to be on her own. Wow. But from the previews that we see of the next episode, the media had not known about what was going on with Ashley and Michael. So when the media got a hold of it now, they can't do anything but move forward with it. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes up in the future episodes. But at this point, we have where Chris and Candace and Giselle are most likely going to be going at it. What other big lie is Mia going to come up with? And now we have Robyn as the mediator of the group so far as her friend is concerned. Oh, there was a point where the producers asked Karen if she sees a crack in the friendship between Giselle and Robyn. And of course, Karen said, yes, the whole world is seeing it, which is true. We're seeing it. Finally, we see Robyn, you know, taking herself away from Giselle. Instead of being the green-eyed bandits, as they're called, they're separating themselves, where Robyn is going to now be the mediator of the group. We're still trying to see if Charisse and Karen could get together and talk, if Karen don't stop avoiding Charisse. So there's a lot to look forward to this season, and I cannot wait to see the future episodes, guys. So that is my recap and my review of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 3, titled Stand in Your Truth. And until next time, guys, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.